Esha Hutchinson here. I'm the Vice President of the Australian Childcare Alliance, and I have been working very closely with our worker retention payment team over the last year and a half. And Liz, the wonderful Liz, has created a summary of all the things you need to know for the end of financial year reconciliation. And we are going to walk you through that now, along with things like what you need to know, as well as the resources that we have available to help you. Please remember that at any time, you can get on the phone to us, send an email to us, and have your questions answered. Generally, though, remember that your questions are going to be somewhat complex, so we may not be able to answer the phone immediately and get through your questions in the 10 minutes before we've already booked in an appointment for somebody. So please, if you can, send an email saying, hey, can I book in some time? And Liz will block out a good chunk of time for you so that you don't feel rushed, everything gets answered, and you walk away going, right, it's done, I'm good. So we're going to go through all of these things. One of the most important things is that the annual declaration is a requirement from the Department of Ed as a recipient of the grant. You've got until October to complete and return it, so don't panic for now. This year's declaration has been simplified, and that comes up a little bit further down how much it's been simplified. And many of you would have received this thing called a notice of waiver, which is below. And that was a letter from them that was all legalese that basically said, we've simplified the form, just fill out the form as we've done it. Because they recognised that last year's form was insanely burdensome upon people, and given the wage changes that have happened throughout the year, that the same thing is happening this year, and they agreed that it was all a bit too much. And so they have made it easier, and that's what that very legal letter was. You need to aim to complete it as accurately as possible. If there are huge discrepancies, the department do have the ability to audit, and for those of us who've been doing the quarterly audits for funding reviews, it's not fun. It's a lot of time taken. So the best thing you can do is make sure that the information is as accurate as possible and that there's no need for an audit for you. So where to find it? Again, you should have received an email from the department close to about a month ago with the link. If not, jump back into Smarty Grants. You know where to find this stuff. Go back into My Submissions, into the agreement, and you'll see that you've got the list on the right-hand side. Kath and Kim's Daycare, where they have an excellent dancing program, I hear. And you've got the forms that have been submitted so far, and then the ones that are in progress or in draft or need submitting. And you click on the one that says annual declaration form. And remember, it's just this past financial year. It's not the entire period. So when you complete the form, it is really, really simple. It comes pre-populated. So they send you through the funds that they've sent you, which is the first column on the left. Then you put in the amount of funds that you expended on worker wages, and we will tell you how to calculate that. So the amount of WRP that you've paid out, and then the amount of funds on costs. The reality is, even if those on costs are higher than 20%, it's just 20%. Remembering that your eligible on costs are super, entitlements, leave loading, workers' comp, and payroll tax. Other details you need to put in, is it an MEA or an IFA that you've got? Your fee constraint compliance, have you done that? Again, be as accurate as possible because they will actually check this against your CCS data. I would encourage you all to be as accurate as possible in all of this. Reconciliation assistance. Remember the gender-based undervaluation case that came into effect from March very much affects how you calculate your worker retention payment, how it's absorbed. And we've got calculators for that. We call it the reverse mapping tool, but basically how you calculate that all out and how you represent it to your staff and how the government are going to pay it back to you. You need to make sure that you get that all under control. We looked at this, and when you're doing these reconciliations, there are 4 pay periods, but only 3 in this financial year. So under the Children's Services Award, if you have a look, you've got 1st of July to the 30th of November, where you were paying the 10% WRP. From the 2nd of December, which was the Monday, it went up to 15%. And that went on until the end of February. And from March to the 30th of June, you then had the gender-based undervaluation, which didn't change the rates, but changed how it was represented to staff. For teachers, they had the July to December rate of 10%, and then from December to June, 15%. It's all slightly confusing, but don't worry, we've got tools to help you and we have wonderful people who can assist you. So just make sure that your reconciliations reflect all of these changes to the rates. We have spreadsheets that we have created for you that will help you. If you've been doing the quarterly reports because you had a funding review, you're probably up to date with all of this. But it's the those who haven't had to do that are possibly going to be just sitting there going, I don't even know where to start. So we've got some spreadsheets available. Liz is going to drop into this presentation a little on-screen version of how it all works. What all you really need to do is to get your staff, their pay rate, their pay level, and then the hours that they did at the various pay rates. So at normal time, at annual leave time, time and a half, double time, personal leave if they're not casuals, all of that kind of thing. And then we will calculate for you what it should have been, to a reasonable level of closeness that you can work with. So we've taken you through the screenshots of the tools that we have. If you need further assistance, please get in touch with our free service. You don't have to be an ACA member, even though it's provided by ACA. We're happy to help you with anything that's WRP related. You can email us, you can call us. As I said, the best thing, if you've got all of your information in front of you, book in some time that suits you, because I know that quite often if you call and leave a message and Liz will call and leave a message while you're talking to families and then you call back and the best thing you can do is send an email and say, can I book in half an hour? I've got all of the information ready. Liz will respond and say, yeah, just make sure you've got your payroll data and anything else handy. and then talk you through it all, make sure that it's easy for you, answer any questions along the way, and hopefully you can get the reconciliation done easily.